Welcome back to Around the World with Dane Waters. Once again, it's always an honor to be here, and we're very honored to have with us Kamila Sadiqi, who runs the Kamila Sadiqi Foundation. Welcome, Kamila, to the show.
Thank you so much.
Well, there's a lot for us to talk about today. One thing I want to get out of this show today is to help people understand kind of the challenges that the world is facing. I mean, as you know better than most of the world, there's so much going on in each and every country, as far as violence, as far as the way women are treated, the way children are treated, the death and despair. But there's so much that a lot of people just overlook it. And I think that when it comes to Afghanistan, people heard a lot about Afghanistan over the years, but it's kind of fallen on the back burner, as they say in the United States. So I want to talk more about it. So talk to us about your story. You were born in Afghanistan, so tell us what it was like growing up in Afghanistan. I guess you were under Taliban rule. So tell us more about your story.
First of all, thank you so much to give me the opportunity to be with you in this important show. My name is Kamila Siddiqui, and I born in Afghanistan. And when the first time Taliban came to Afghanistan, I my family was we were living in Kabul, and my father and my brother flee from Kabul to Iran, and I was living with my mother, and then the situation was exactly the same. That over the night, the woman cannot go to school, they banned the school, university, work, and all these things change over the night, and. Me and my mother with my sisters, we were living in Kabul. It was a very difficult and challenges time for our family. In that time, I was thinking that how can I support my family? Especially my mother was very concerned, and she was very. And then I start a very small business in my living room with two of my sisters, and then after 6 months, we I was able to create job for 150 women in the community.
Hmm. So let's go back and talk about this. So when the Taliban took over, I mean, under Taliban rule, I guess that they imposed Sharia law. So help us understand exactly what that means. That means that women of certain ages don't have any rights. Help the world understand exactly what that means for women.
I don't want to talk in detail for other challenges in Afghanistan. There are a lot of challenges, but the woman issue is now that highlighted everywhere that there is no life for women, and right now the schools, universities, and all this are closed, and women cannot go to work and to study, especially the doctors and nurses that we need in Afghanistan. And the women, most of the women, they are living at home. Just some of the women that they have small businesses still they are doing, but rest of education door is closed and banned for all women in Afghanistan.
So how did it work for you? I mean, how did you, when did were you able to leave Afghanistan, and how was that able to come about?
You know that the 2008, I was coming to London, and then during the time, I was back and forth in Kabul, and I do a lot of work that time, and with my when the situation changed with a one laptop computer, I started consulting company and work for Afghan women around the country. And then during the time that Taliban took over of power again, I was in Kabul, and by support of my friend, I was able to evacuate from Kabul to Switzerland, from Switzerland to Germany, from Germany to London. Yeah, that was the story. The way that I left Kabul, it was very difficult for me because all my family was there, my friend was there, my country and my hope. I just leave it in a minute and flee from Kabul to Switzerland.
And you wrote a book. Tell us about your book that you wrote.
My book is my story, wrote by the author of the book is Miss Gail. She is American journalist. She is a friend, family friend, and she is the one that she wrote the book. And the book is about this small business that how we started. And the author of the book does research for 3 years in Kabul and in contact with everyone that ever worked with me that time. That's about the story of success story of that business during the first round of Taliban takeover of Afghanistan.
And so let's just so everyone, excuse me, understands the chronology. So the Taliban was in power, and then there was a period of time where the Taliban was not in power, but the Taliban have come back into power. So during the period of time where the Taliban was not in power, did you support the government and help the government? When did you go back to Afghanistan, or have you just stayed in London?
During the time that I start my business consulting company, when the situation changed, I was thinking that how can I share my experience for other women who start their own business and have a good life. That was my aim, and I start my consulting company, and I had trained more than 10,000 people around the country in different provinces of Afghanistan, almost all provinces of Afghanistan. And after that, I started export and import company, and then the first taxi company in Afghanistan, which was similar to Hoover, and it was a successful business. And then uh, a business training center, an institute, a lot of business, and it was very successful. I became a voice of the woman in the private sector, and I had participated in different international conference and seminars. Then, when the new government election finished, and Mr. President and the team they request to join with the government, I used to work as a deputy chief of staff in the palace for 3 years, and then I joined with Ministry of Commerce as a deputy minister of commerce and also acting minister of commerce before I left Afghanistan.
Yes, I know there's a lot of things that you are very hesitant to talk about as far as the governments are concerned. I understand that because, this is one of the things I want to get across is that people are still it's still very dangerous in Afghanistan these days. And I guess the number one question to you would be, what inspired you or who inspired you to really stand up? I mean, you are an amazing individual. You've accomplished so much in a difficult situation. So what inspired you to really become the person that you are today?
To be honest, that age that when I start my work, my my mother was the one, and also the way that I support my mother and my family. It was very important for me that time. In age of 17 years or 18 years old girls, they don't know about future. I just done all these things because of my love to my family and to my mother and to survive. Otherwise, uh, mm, uh, poverty in Kabul, it was not only for my family, there was a risk of poverty in my community, in my family. That's why I stand and support my family, and my house become a place of hope for a number of women.
Well, help the audience understand why the world should care about Afghanistan and what's happening there.
You know, to be honest, I'm very upset because when international community come to Afghanistan and support us since 2002 to 2021, I am one of the example of the result of our achievement. And there was a lot of other women that they went to university, they study, they become a doctor, they are much better than me, and they were involved in the development of the country. But the way that they left us, we did not lost our achievement. International community also lost their achievement because the way that they live and they are not talking about Afghan women, it is sometimes that I really think that why this happened.
But why? I mean, why do you think it happened? Why do you think? Is it because there's just so much around the world that the world has to focus on? I mean, just the other day, last week, the Taliban cut the internet off in the country. and barely did it make any news at all about what happened there. Um, but I mean, what really do you think that the world has just lost interest in Afghanistan, or is it just because there's just so much going on?
You know that the way that they support Afghanistan from 2002 to 2021, and suddenly they cut off their connection and also their interest for Afghanistan. It's still a question for myself as well. But Afghanistan is a place that we just need. You know that most of the girls that they were working with me during the first time of Taliban, they become a professor, they become a doctor. A lot of women, I know them, but now again, the way that the international community leave the country, education is like a water. No one can stop. You know, if someone get banned the university and a school, there are a lot of good women and educated women that they facilitate and they contact and connect with that family and Afghan girls, and there are different way to teach them online or maybe underground and from different part of the Kabul that Afghanistan that I have contact with them. The girls study, but international community, if they lost their interest for political issues in Afghanistan, but women issues and women rights and human rights is something that it is responsibility of everyone.
Well, I 100% agree with that. And sadly, I think in the United States, speaking as an American, I think that ever since the withdrawal from Afghanistan, and among Americans, Afghanistan has been a country that people think has been a failure. And so they don't talk about it. It's really not a positive thing to talk about Afghanistan. But you're right. Where the world has to break this down and understand is that when it comes to women, women's rights, human dignity, things of this nature. I mean, it doesn't matter. You need to factor out the politics of it and focus on these individuals. Um, and that is something that, in America, one of the reasons I wanted to do this show is to try to help Americans understand that even if there was a bad withdrawal in Afghanistan, even if that was the case, I'm not passing judgment one way or the other. You can't just walk away from your fellow human being. You just can't do it. Um, so in Afghanistan, how many women? I mean, this is a broad question, but um, are women able to leave the country, or they're just stuck there? They can't leave.
Before I answer this question, I just want to mention one thing that as I was working very closely with American and also with international community, American people and also American government and international community, generally European Union, everyone tried to help us. But it was not only American that left the country. Before American left the country, European Union and all embassies and all international community closed their offices and left Afghanistan. And the way that if American not support Afghanistan right now, other countries also not pay attention for the challenges that Afghan women face it right now. But when we come to the next question, could you please repeat the next question?
Well, I mean, a lot of people would argue, say, hey, if it's so difficult in Afghanistan, why don't the women just leave Afghanistan? Is it very difficult for women to leave the country?
How many women leave? Most of these professional women that they were working with an international organization, if we count on them, maybe 3,000, 2,000, 5,000. But how many people are living in this country right now? How many women are in the morning they are watching the movie every day that when the school will open for their children? Look at us every morning when our children going to school and we're waiting for them to come back. It is some hope for future of our children. But these women that they are living in Afghanistan, they have the same right that we have.
Hmm. And so you still have a lot of friends there, I'm assuming, in Afghanistan, right?
A lot of friends, my family, friends, and my people of Afghanistan, all of I am connected with everyone in the country.
And so, what would you say? This segment, the next segment, we're going to talk more about a global perspective of all of this. But For Afghanistan, I mean, what would you suggest to the world to do to help Afghanistan? What's the number one thing that governments and individuals can do to help Afghanistan?
My request is for international community that please understand the situation of Afghanistan, and the world should know that Afghanistan is not a poor country. Afghanistan is a very rich country, and this time international community should see us as a rich country and come and invest and to do a partnership with us, and you know that this is the way, the solution of the country to become a partner with Afghanistan and support private sector. And we have a lot of resource in Afghanistan. We just need some people to help us with the technical issues to have a good partnership, and we are the one that we can change our country,
And so talk to us
not
about the
international aid, or because we have experience of international aid that how much how many percentage goes to the Afghan people in the community, but the rest, the cost of the, running cost of the project was very high. In this case, I suggest this time that people should know that Afghanistan is a rich country.
Well, I appreciate that, and I think that the world needs to understand that, that people would never even think of Afghanistan as a rich country. They would think of Afghanistan as just deserts, mountains, and that there's really not a lot there. But tell us real quick before we take a break about the Kamila Sadiqi Foundation and what you're focused on now.
Kamala Siddiqui Foundation. When I come to London, one of my friend, she read the book, and she contacted with me and she said that how can I help you, especially for girls education. Our focus is for education for the girls, and we do a lot of online classes and online support for Afghan girls to study and to have a hope for future.
Mm. Well, this is, I think, is an important point. I mean, you're still doing a lot in Afghanistan that, once again, we have to be very careful about what we say because of the sensitivities in the country. But you're doing a lot. The Siddiqui Foundation is really focused on helping women in Afghanistan and girls in Afghanistan be educated and to learn in ways that they're just not allowed to learn. And so I would just want to be very clear that I applaud that, and I think that we all need to understand that without an educated women, it's not just men, but women have to be educated. Women are a critical component to the future of our world, and so it's important